Hello, and welcome back to another Daily Top 10's Top 10 video. Today, we're going to be looking at the top 10 future predictions that came true. We may not believe in fortune-telling or soothsaying, but even we have to admit it is eerie how accurate some of these predictions turned out to be. Number 10. John Brunner predicted the 2010 president in 1968. This renowned science fiction author's book, Stand on Zanzibar, won the Hugo Award for Best Novel at the World Science Fiction Convention in 1969. But today, it's best known for depicting a 2010 when America is led by one President Obama. That's a pretty startling coincidence, we have to say. But Stand on Zanzibar doesn't end there. It features plenty of predictions that have come to pass. In Zanzibar's 2010, Europe has formed a united group of nations. The U.S.'s most powerful rival is no longer the Soviet Union and is now China. Motor vehicles increasingly run on electric fuel cells. Marijuana has been decriminalized while tobacco has seen an increasing backlash. And TV channels have used satellite technology to go global. Number 9. Mark Twain prophesied his own death in 1909. It seems like sometimes the stars do control our fates. Mark Twain, then aged 74, said to his biographer in 1909 that he had some thoughts about when he would depart this world. I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It's coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't. Well, what do you know? Halley's Comet did indeed return to Earth the next year, on April 20th, 1910. The next day, Twain was dead. Number 8. Nikola Tesla anticipated Wi-Fi and mobile phones in 1909. The same year that Mark Twain was laying out the roadmap to his death, superb engineer and monumental weirdo Nikola Tesla was projecting the invention of Wi-Fi and mobile phones. As Tesla remarked to the New York Times, it will soon be possible to transmit wireless messages all over the world so simply that any individual can carry and operate his own apparatus. Sounds like a pretty accurate description of how things turned out to us. Number 7. Ray Bradbury foretold earbuds in 1953. The Fahrenheit 451 author uses his magnus opus to tell us a lot about our world and where we're heading. But this prediction sure seems pretty specific. To quote the passage from the book, "And in her ears the little seashells, the thimble radios tamped tight, and an electric ocean of sound of music and talk coming in on the shore of her unsleeping mind." Number 6. The Simpsons foresaw the rise of President Trump in 2000. When Lisa Simpson becomes the President of the United States in a few years, things are going to be in dire straits. In part, The Simpsons predicts, because the country will inherit quite a budget crunch from President Trump. That's right, an episode of the long-running favorite that originally aired in 2000 took a glimpse into the future, and it saw ours crystal clear. In the lead-up to the 2016 election, Dan Graney, the episode's writer, said he threw the line in as a lighthearted warning to America. Number 5. Arthur C. Clarke dreamt up the iPad in 1968. These mid-20th century sci-fi writers, they were really amazing at predicting things to come. In this case, celebrated author Arthur C. Clarke used his novel 2001: A Space Odyssey to describe something called a newspad, and it sounds oddly familiar. Floyd would plug his foolscap-sized newspad into the ship's information circuit and scan the latest reports from Earth. The postage stamp-sized rectangle would expand until it neatly filled the screen. When he had finished, he would flash back to the complete page and select a new subject for detailed examination. Number 4. Back to the Future 2 projected waste-fueled cars. You may be thinking that this one hasn't come to pass yet. Don't you still have to fill up the tank with gasoline? But as it happens, Toyota is taking inspiration from Doc Brown on this one and has produced the 2016 Toyota Mirai, the hydrogen fuel cell car. It's eco-friendly, and in Orange County, California, the hydrogen will be harvested from human waste. Toyota even thought ahead and contacted Back to the Future stars Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox to promote the thing. Meanwhile, someone also had a go at inventing the hoverboard, and while, yeah, it floats above the ground, it has to be the right kind of ground, and it doesn't float especially high. Number 3. A short story predicted the sinking of the Titanic in 1898. Popular 19th century author Morgan Robertson's novella, Futility or the Wreck of the Titan, already has a pretty ominous-sounding title. Sound familiar? What really stands out here are the details. The novella tells the tale of the largest ship ever made and how it struck an iceberg and sank into the sea. Just 14 years later, well, we all know the story. Number 2. President Lincoln dreams his own death. Abraham Lincoln's assassination is one of the most famous events of the 19th century, but Lincoln saw his death coming, in a way. It was after his death that Lincoln's friend and confidant, Ward Hill Layman, composed the president's biography, and within it, he recounted the time that Lincoln told him that he had a nightmare. It was 3 days before he was to be killed. In the dream, Lincoln found everyone in the White House to be in a state of great mourning. He wandered through the building until he came across a room with a corpse laid out. Layman's account of the end of Lincoln's story has to be heard to be believed. "Who is dead in the White House?" I demanded of one of the soldiers. "The president," was his answer. "He was killed by an assassin." Then came a loud burst of grief from the crowd, which woke me from my dream. Number 1. Nostradamus predicts Hitler. The world's most famous prognosticator had to take out the number 1 spot on this countdown. And this is one of Nostradamus's most chilling prophecies. We're going to let this one speak for itself. Keep in mind that these predictions were written 4 centuries before Hitler's rise to power. From the depths of the west of Europe, a young child will be born of poor people. He who by his tongue will seduce a great troop. His fame will increase towards the realm of the east. Beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers. The greater part of the battlefield will be against Heister. The name Heister is obviously off, by only 1 letter though, and some believe it to be a spelling error. However, everything else here is pretty spot on. Hitler was indeed born poor. He was from Western Europe. His tongue, or oratory skills, helped create a huge army that swept across Europe to the east, and a great battle waged between the Allied powers and Hitler's forces. Nostradamus made many predictions, but the specificity of this one makes it truly mind-boggling. Thanks for watching another Daily Top 10's Top 10 video. And remember, it's our duty to entertain and yours to subscribe.
Hey, what's up guys? Please subscribe to Daily Top 10. Subscribe. Press the button down below and just subscribe. Fucking hell, my job sucks. There's the button down below, click it and just subscribe. Oh, and here's my Mexican hat. I seem funny, entertainment, yeah. Basically that's it, just subscribe, Daily Top 10. This is so boring. I give up, I just quit, fuck it.